The Rolling Stones, one of the most iconic rock bands in history, has been the soundtrack to the lives of countless fans. But the band's journey wasn't always filled with electrifying concerts and chart-topping hits. It's also one marked by profound losses, as several key members have passed away. Facts First UK presents tragic deaths within the Rolling Stones that shook us to the core. Bobby Keys. Bobby Keys, born December 18, 1943, carved out a unique space for himself in the music industry as an acclaimed saxophone player, playing for the Rolling Stones and a host of other celebrated musicians in the 70s. Beginning his touring career at age 15, Keys' rendezvous with the Rolling Stones started in 1964 at the San Antonio Teen Fair, later imprinting his iconic saxophone solo on their 1971 hit Brown Sugar. His contributions didn't stop there, as he left his mark on multiple early 1970s Stones tracks like Can't You Hear Me Knocking, Rip This Joint, and Sweet Virginia. Known for his strong friendship with band member Keith Richards, Keys was often a vital part of the band's dynamic, ultimately becoming their primary touring saxophone player from the 1982 European tour until his death. He also showcased his talent working with myriad other renowned musicians like Eric Clapton, George Harrison, and John Lennon. He embarked on significant tours like Joe Cocker's Mad Dogs and Englishmen tour and participated in Lennon's Lost Weekend in Los Angeles. He released 2 solo albums in the 70s, one of which included collaborations with musicians like Ringo Starr and George Harrison. His contributions to the music world were cut short when he passed away December 2nd, 2014 due to liver cancer, 16 days shy of his 71st birthday. Nicky Hopkins. Nicholas Christian Hopkins, born February 24, 1944, was a renowned English pianist and organist whose influence spanned across several decades of rock music from the 60s to the 90s. Hopkins' proficiency found its way into numerous British and American rock music recordings, cementing his reputation alongside rock music greats like the Rolling Stones, the Kinks, the Who, the Beatles, and many more. Despite his lifelong struggle with Crohn's disease that made touring difficult, Hopkins became a sought-after session musician. His musical journey began at a young age, earning a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Music in London as a teenager. He gained early recognition as the pianist with screaming lords such as Savages and later the Cyril Davies All-Stars, impressing audiences with his renditions, including Davies' theme tune, Country Line Special. His association with the Rolling Stones yielded some iconic works. He played on all their studio albums from Between the Buttons in 1967 through Tattoo You in 1981, except for Some Girls. He provided the prominent piano parts on numerous classics like We Love You, She's a Rainbow, Sympathy for the Devil, and Gimme Shelter, among others. His work is particularly notable on the Stones' 1972 studio album Exile on Main Street, where he played on 14 of the album's 18 tracks. Beyond his work with the Stones, Hopkins was involved in many other memorable collaborations, including with the Kinks on 4 studio albums, where his contributions, though sometimes contentious, were greatly admired. Hopkins also lent his talents to the Who's debut album, My Generation, and made significant contributions to their Who's Next album. His impressive musicianship, versatility, and profound impact on rock music, despite health issues, led him to be widely regarded as one of the greatest studio pianists in the history of popular rock music. He passed away September 6, 1994, at age 50 from complications that resulted from intestinal surgery correlated to Crohn's disease. Billy Preston. Billy Preston, born September 2, 1946 in Houston, was an outstanding musician known for his soulful sounds and lively performances, particularly on keyboards and the organ. He began his music career as a child prodigy, performing with Mahalia Jackson at age 10, and then touring with Little Richard in his early teens. Throughout his career, he worked with a host of acclaimed artists, including the Beatles, Eric Clapton, and Sam Cooke. But he was best known for his association with the Rolling Stones, both as a session musician and a touring member, providing his talents to classic Stones tracks like Can't You Hear Me Knockin' and Tumbling Dice. Preston passed away June 6, 2006 at age 59. He had been in a deep coma since November of 2005 following a series of medical complications associated with his battle with kidney disease. Ian McLagen. Born May 12, 1945 in Isleworth, England, Ian Patrick McLagen was a distinguished keyboardist, notable for membership in Small Faces, and the Rolling Stones, albeit only briefly with the latter. His early affinity for the keyboard began at age 7, leading him to abandon his art studies to pursue a career in music. McLagen started playing in bands in the early 60s, with notable influences including Cyril Davies' All-Stars. Joining Small Faces in 1965, McLagen's talents contributed to several tracks, and the band later evolved into Faces with the addition of Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood. Post-Faces, he became a sought-after sideman, working with numerous renowned artists like the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, and John Mayer, among others. His illustrious career earned him an induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012. He led a rich, multifaceted personal life. He was married to Sandy Sargent from 1968 to 72, with whom he had a son. Later, he developed a relationship with Kim Kerrigan, the estranged wife of Keith Moon, whom he married in 1978. In his later years, he relocated to Austin, Texas, where he led his own bump band and performed at local venues. Tragedy struck when Kim died in a traffic accident in 2006. McLagen himself passed away December 3, 2014, from a stroke at age 69. Ian Stewart. Born July 18, 1938 in Fife, Scotland, he was an integral part of the Rolling Stones, serving as their road manager, co-founder, and keyboardist. Showing a proclivity for music early on, his jazz-tinged piano style was a defining element of the Stones' sound in their early years. Despite being removed from the official lineup in 1963 by the band's manager, Andrew Loog Oldham, due to his unconventional rock star look, Stewart remained a vital contributor. He played on many of the band's classic recordings, including Let It Bleed, Tattoo You, and Steel Wheels. He also performed live with them on several occasions. Stewart's life sadly came to an end December 12, 1985, when he died of a heart attack in his doctor's Harley Street waiting room. He was 47 years old. Charlie Watts. Charlie Watts, born in 1941 and raised in Wembley, northwest London, was a drummer who propelled the sound of the Rolling Stones for almost 6 decades. He was known for his limber stance, deep knowledge of jazz, and unruffled ability to make songs swing while maintaining strict rhythm. His passion for jazz also led him to form and play in several jazz groups over the years, including his own quintet and tentet and Rocket 88. Despite dealing with his own personal struggles with alcohol, amphetamines, and heroin use during the 1980s, and being diagnosed with throat cancer in 2004, he demonstrated his resilience and continued his impressive musical career well into his mid-70s. On August 24, 2021, he passed away peacefully in a London hospital at age 80. His death came after undergoing emergency surgery the previous month and having to miss the Rolling Stones' forthcoming U.S. tour. Brian Jones. Brian Jones, known as the founding member of the Rolling Stones, died under mysterious circumstances at age 27. He established the band in 1962, pulling the name from Muddy Waters' 1950 song Rollin' Stone. Over the years, tensions escalated within the group as Mick Jagger and Keith Richards began shaping the band's musical trajectory, and Jones's role was steadily reduced. His struggles with drug and alcohol addiction further exacerbated the situation, eventually leading to his dismissal in 1969. Less than a month after his departure, he was found dead at the bottom of his swimming pool at his 11-acre estate Cochford Farm in East Sussex on July 3, 1969. His death was ruled a death by misadventure, attributed to heavy intoxication and an enlarged liver. Speculations and conspiracy theories have swirled around Jones's death for decades. Some believe that Frank Thorogood, a construction worker renovating his property and embroiled in a financial dispute with Jones, was the culprit. Others suspect Tom Keelock, Jones's manager, who reportedly confessed on his deathbed in 1993. Quote, "It was me that did Brian. I just finally snapped." The police reviewed the case in 2009, but concluded that no new evidence suggested the initial verdict was incorrect. Now it's time to hear from you. Who's your favorite member of the Stones, alive or dead? And do you believe Brian Jones was murdered? Let us know in the comments section below.